The series opens in a small, quiet town called Chester's Mill. In the dense woods just outside town, a man named Barbie, who isn't originally from here, can be seen burying a dead body. There's a visible wound on Barbie's forehead, and it's clear he was in a fight with this man before things escalated. His movements are tense, but controlled as he finishes covering the grave, trying to erase every trace of what happened. Later that afternoon, Barbie is driving out of town. On the road, he loses focus on the road ahead. Barbie swerves the car sharply. The vehicle spins out of control and crashes into a field filled with cows. The car rotates violently before finally coming to a halt, but somehow, Barbie walks away without any serious injuries. Moments later, an earthquake shakes the town. The ground trembles violently, as if something enormous has struck the earth. And then, without warning, something falls from the sky. An eerie silence blankets everything. A cow in the field is suddenly sliced cleanly in half, as if cut by something razor-sharp and invisible. It looks as though an unseen force from above has severed it with surgical precision. Barbie stares in disbelief. An invisible barrier has descended from the sky, a transparent, impenetrable wall so sharp that it has literally split objects in two. A teenage boy nearby runs up to Barbie and asks if he's okay. Barbie himself has no idea what just happened. Soon after, the town's inspector and his deputy, Linda, receive information that the entire town's power supply has been cut. Phone lines are down, the internet is gone, satellite connections have completely failed. Then something even more horrifying happens. An airplane crashes straight into the invisible barrier and explodes on impact. That's when it becomes clear. This isn't just a wall. It's some kind of massive dome-like structure enclosing the entire town. Panic spreads quickly. At the local radio station, an RJ named Phil and his assistant attempt to contact the outside world. Their station is now the only working radio frequency inside the dome. Despite the terrifying situation, Phil can't help but remark, almost excitedly, that their ratings are about to skyrocket because everyone will be tuning in. Outside the dome, a fire truck speeds toward town, but Barbie urgently signals for it to stop before it slams into the invisible wall and gets destroyed. The police have no explanation for what's happening. The town councilman, Jim, arrives at the scene, but he has no answers either. They are informed that every road leading out of town has been sealed by this invisible barrier, causing multiple accidents. An emergency announcement needs to be made immediately to prevent further crashes. Elsewhere, Junior and Angie are together. Angie is his older sister and also volunteers as a nurse. Junior suddenly proposes to her, confessing his feelings. Angie calmly but firmly tells him she doesn't feel the same way. The rejection quickly turns into an argument. In the heat of the moment, Angie slaps him and storms off. In another part of town, Carolyn and Alice, along with their daughter Nori, are heading into town for work. They have no idea what chaos awaits them. Meanwhile, investigative journalist Julia Shumway is introduced. A woman informs her that 6 propane tanks have been delivered to the town this week, a highly unusual number. Julia immediately senses something suspicious. Why would such a small town need that much fuel? She decides she's going to investigate. Jim goes to the radio station and makes an emergency announcement. Carolyn hears it, but mistakes it for an advertisement and ignores it. Before their car can hit the dome, a vehicle coming from the opposite direction crashes into the barrier and is crushed instantly. The sight shocks them deeply. Carolyn slams on the brakes. Suddenly, Nori suffers a seizure. During the episode, she mutters something strange. Pink stars. Carolyn and Alice rush her to the hospital. The hospital is overflowing with accident victims. Julia and Barbie are also there. Julia has come to check on her husband. Soon Julia discovers that her husband hadn't gone to work on Sunday like he claimed. He had lied to her. Barbie and Julia speak briefly. Junior watches them together and becomes visibly jealous. He has grown obsessively possessive over Angie. At the town's borders, military soldiers now guard the perimeter outside the dome. Scientists and experts examine the barrier, trying to determine what it is and why it appeared. Hours later, Jim meets with the inspector, and they discuss the propane shipments. Jim says they've done everything possible to protect the town, but their conversation hints that they know more about the dome than they're willing to admit. Barbie has only been in town for 1 day. Now he has nowhere to stay. That night, Junior approaches Barbie under the pretense of talking, but instead threatens him. Barbie is confused. Why is this kid targeting him? Before things escalate, Julia intervenes. Despite the crisis, some teenagers are throwing a party. Joe meets another boy and they discuss the bizarre situation. Suddenly, Joe also suffers a seizure and mutters, "Pink stars," the exact same words Nori had spoken. Meanwhile, Junior breaks into Angie's house, kidnaps her, and takes her to an old underground shelter built by his father Jim. He claims it was meant for his safety. He says he knows what's happening in town. Julia allows Barbie to stay at her house. While looking at photographs of Julia's husband, Barbie freezes in shock. It's the same man he buried in the woods that morning. Later, while patrolling, the inspector's pacemaker malfunctions and explodes, killing him instantly. A flashback reveals that earlier that morning, Barbie had confronted Julia's husband over a payment. The man refused. A physical struggle broke out. During the fight, Barbie accidentally shot him, not wanting to take the blame for murder, because he claims he was only hired muscle. Barbie buried the body in the forest. When Barbie wakes up the next morning, his necklace is missing. Julia offers to help find it, but Barbie suddenly remembers. He left it at the burial site. Linda weeps uncontrollably while holding the inspector's body. Joe asks his friend about the seizure and the pink stars, but he remembers nothing. At the radio station, Dodie uses a special device to intercept outside military communications. She can hear the soldiers talking, but can't respond. Even they are confused about the dome. Jim calmly eats breakfast at a restaurant when Linda informs him about the inspector's death. They go to Lester, the town's funeral director. Inside the shelter, Angie screams for help. Junior ignores her pleas and chains her up. He insists that once the dome disappears, she'll love him again. His behavior is disturbingly unstable. Lester is devastated by the inspector's death. During Linda's absence, Lester and Jim quietly discuss propane matters from the previous month. Clearly, secrets are being kept from the townspeople. Linda visits the inspector's office and finds Jim searching through documents. He claims he's checking on his will. She believes him. In reality, he's searching for propane import documents that could implicate him and Lester. When he doesn't find them, he suggests checking the inspector's home. Dodie climbs the radio tower and learns that the military is attempting to dig under the dome, but they've failed. She broadcasts this information to the entire town, increasing panic. At the border, scientists test water against the dome. It has no visible effect. However, Joe observes that the dome functions like a magnifying glass. Barbie retrieves his necklace from the cabin near the burial site. Junior confronts him again, demanding he stay away from Angie. Barbie easily overpowers him in a fight. Lester breaks into the inspector's house and burns the propane documents, but the fire spreads rapidly. Without fire trucks able to cross the dome, extinguishing it seems impossible. If the fire continues, the dome's interior temperature could rise high enough to kill everyone. The townspeople form a bucket brigade. Linda rescues Lester from inside the burning house. After an hour, the fire is finally controlled with the help of heavy machinery. The residents are exhausted from living in fear. A police officer named Paul snaps, claiming they'll never escape and will eventually kill each other. He fires his gun at the dome. The bullet ricochets and kills another officer. Paul is arrested. At night, Joe and his friends go skating. Nori asks to charge her phone, so Joe takes her home where there's a generator. Meanwhile, angry townspeople gather outside the police station, protesting. Paul fakes illness, shoves Linda into the cell, and escapes with a rifle and bullets. Junior tries convincing Angie again. She suggests an old tunnel they used to play in as children. Maybe the dome doesn't cover it. Jim frees Linda and organizes a search party. Carolyn worries about Nori staying out overnight. Barbie joins the search and reveals he was once in the military. Junior reaches the tunnel's end, but the dome blocks it. When he gets too close, his flashlight explodes, just like the inspector's pacemaker did. Julia arrives and calms him as he punches the dome in frustration. He lies, claiming Barbie attacked him. Joe's house fills with people charging electronics. One guy demands payment for electricity, even though it's Joe's home. Nori confronts him boldly. Suddenly, the power cuts out. In the forest, Paul shoots a man in the leg. Jim and Barbie chase him. Just as Paul is about to shoot Jim, Linda appears and kills Paul. Carolyn later scolds Nori for being irresponsible. At one point, Joe and Nori both touch the dome and, in unison, say, "Pink stars are falling in a line." Junior returns to the shelter. Angie secretly grabs a pair of scissors from the first aid kit. After a long day, Julia and Barbie return home. Junior's accusations plant seeds of doubt in Julia's mind. While Barbie showers, Julia quietly begins searching through his belongings. And with that, part 1 of the series comes to an end.